It was a routine day at the SETI Institute, where Dr. Amelia Carter spent her days monitoring the vast emptiness of space for any signs of extraterrestrial life. Most days she listened to the same static hum, the monotonous nothingness that had become all too familiar in her decade-long career. But today was different. Today, the signal arrived. It was faint at first, almost indistinguishable from the usual background noise. But as the data streamed in, it became clear this was no ordinary transmission. The signal followed a distinct pattern, a series of mathematical sequences that could not have occurred naturally. Something, or someone, was trying to communicate. "Amelia, you need to see this," her colleague, Dr. Rajesh Malik, called from across the room. He stared at his monitor, his expression one of disbelief. Amelia hurried over, her heart racing. As she looked at the screen, her breath caught in her throat. The signal was unmistakable. An intelligent civilization was reaching out, and Earth had just made its first contact. The news spread like wildfire, and within hours, every major government on Earth was involved. Military leaders, scientists, and political figures gathered in secret to discuss what the signal could mean. Was it a friendly greeting or a prelude to invasion? Amelia and Rajesh worked around the clock to decode the message. It was complex. A mix of mathematical symbols, strange sound frequencies, and unknown language patterns. Yet, as they delved deeper into the signal, they realized that the message was not just a simple greeting, it was an invitation. "They want us to come to them," Rajesh whispered, his voice filled with awe. Amelia's mind raced with possibilities. An alien civilization capable of faster-than-light communication was within reach, and they were asking humanity to join them. But where were they? And more importantly, could humanity trust them? NASA and other space agencies around the world quickly mobilized. The United Nations formed a special task force to handle the first contact mission, and after weeks of intense debate, a decision was made. Earth would send a team of scientists, diplomats, and military personnel to meet the aliens. The mission was codenamed Project Horizon. A specially designed spacecraft, the Endeavour, was built using the latest in propulsion technology. It was equipped with advanced communication systems, state-of-the-art defense mechanisms, and enough supplies to last for years. Captain John Mitchell, a decorated space explorer, was chosen to lead the mission. He had spent most of his career in space, but even he couldn't hide his excitement at the thought of making contact with an alien species. "This is it," he said during a pre-launch briefing. "The moment we've all been waiting for." Amelia and Rajesh were also part of the team, tasked with decoding any further messages and establishing a line of communication with the aliens. As the launch date approached, the world watched with bated breath. This mission would mark humanity's first step into a larger universe, and the outcome would shape the future of the species. The launch was flawless, and soon, the Endeavour was hurtling through space at speeds never before achieved by human technology. The crew marveled at the vastness of the cosmos, the stars shining brighter than they ever had on Earth. But as they approached the coordinates provided in the signal, something strange happened. The stars around them seemed to blur, and the ship's instruments went haywire. Amelia's heart raced as she tried to make sense of the data. "We're entering a distortion field," Rajesh said, his fingers flying across the control panel. "It's like nothing I've ever seen." Suddenly, the ship jolted, and everything went dark. When the lights flickered back on, they found themselves in a completely different part of space. The distortion had transported them across vast distances in an instant. Before them loomed a massive structure, an alien space station unlike anything they had ever imagined. It was enormous, stretching out for miles with strange glowing patterns etched into its surface. "This is it," Captain Mitchell said, his voice filled with awe. "We've arrived." The Endeavour docked with the alien station, and the crew prepared for their first face-to-face meeting with extraterrestrial life. Amelia's heart pounded in her chest as they stepped into the airlock. Would the aliens be hostile, peaceful, or something entirely beyond human comprehension? As the doors opened, a figure emerged from the shadows. The alien was tall and slender, its skin a shimmering silver that seemed to shift in the light. It had large, expressive eyes and no visible mouth, but its presence was calm, almost serene. A voice echoed in Amelia's mind, not spoken aloud but projected telepathically. "Welcome, travelers. We are the Zarnath." The crew stood in stunned silence, overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of the moment. Amelia took a step forward, her voice trembling. "We come in peace. We are from Earth." The Zarnath tilted its head as if considering her words. We have been observing your world for a long time. You are not the first to come here, but you may be the most important. Amelia exchanged a glance with Rajesh, her mind racing. What did the Zarnoth mean by that? Were there other species out there, watching humanity? And why had they chosen this moment to make contact? As the crew was led deeper into the station, they discovered that the Zarnoth were not alone. The station was home to representatives from dozens of alien species, all part of a vast interstellar alliance known as the Council of Species. Each species had its own unique biology, culture, and technology, but they all shared a common goal: to maintain peace and cooperation across the galaxy. The Zarnoth explained that the Council had been monitoring Earth for centuries, waiting for the right moment to bring humanity into the fold. You are on the verge of a great leap forward, the Zarnoth told them. But you are also at a crossroads. The decisions you make now will determine your place in the galaxy. Captain Mitchell listened carefully, his mind racing with the implications. What do you want from us? He asked. The Zarnoth's eyes glowed softly. We want you to join us, to become part of the Council. But first, you must prove that you are ready. Amelia felt a chill run down her spine. This was more than just a diplomatic mission. It was a test, one that would determine the fate of humanity. The crew of the Endeavour spent days aboard the Zarnoth station, meeting with the various alien species that made up the Council of Species. The more they learned, the more they realized how fragile the galactic peace truly was. The Council was held together by a delicate balance of power, with ancient rivalries simmering beneath the surface. We must tread carefully, Captain Mitchell said during a private meeting with the crew. We're not just representing Earth. We're stepping into the middle of a political minefield. Amelia, Rajesh, and the others agreed. They knew that one wrong move could not only jeopardize humanity's place in the galaxy, but also trigger a conflict between the species of the Council. The Zarnoth soon revealed the true nature of the trial humanity would face. You must demonstrate your ability to cooperate with the other species, they explained. The Council is built on unity. If you cannot work together, you will not be allowed to join. To prove humanity's worth, the crew was given a mission. They would need to work alongside members of 3 other species to solve a series of complex challenges, each designed to test their intelligence, creativity, and most importantly, their ability to collaborate. The first challenge took place on a remote planet orbiting a dying star. The crew was teamed up with the Solarians, a reptilian species known for their combat prowess, and the Narok, a highly intelligent race of insectoid creatures with a hive mind. The goal was simple: survive for 48 hours on the hostile planet while gathering enough resources to build a communication device capable of reaching the Zarnoth station. But as soon as they landed, it became clear that the challenges were anything but simple. The planet's atmosphere was toxic, its surface covered in dangerous terrain, and the native wildlife was aggressive and territorial. Tensions flared between the humans and the Solarians almost immediately. The Solarians were impatient, wanting to charge headfirst into danger, while the humans preferred a more cautious approach. This isn't a battlefield, Amelia argued during one heated exchange. We need to think strategically if we're going to survive. The Narok, meanwhile, remained eerily calm, their hive mind allowing them to work together with perfect synchronization. But their communication was limited, and their strange behavior made it difficult for the humans to fully trust them. As the hours ticked by, the challenges grew more difficult. The team faced brutal storms, aggressive predators, and dwindling supplies. But slowly, they began to find common ground. The humans and Solarians learned to respect each other's strengths, while the Narok's hive mind proved invaluable in coordinating their efforts. By the end of the 48 hours, the team had not only survived, but thrived. They had built a fully functional communication device and successfully completed the first challenge. Though they had passed the first challenge, the journey was far from over. The second challenge took the crew deep into the heart of an ancient alien ruin, where they were tasked with retrieving a relic of immense cultural significance to one of the Council species. This time, they were paired with the Valari, a race of humanoid creatures with advanced telepathic abilities, and the Tharnak, a warlike species with a long history of conflict. The ruins were a maze of traps and puzzles, each more dangerous than the last. The Valari's telepathy proved useful in sensing danger, but their aloof and condescending attitude grated on the crew's nerves. Meanwhile, the Tharnak were eager to solve every problem with brute force, often putting the entire team in jeopardy. As the days wore on, tensions within the group began to escalate. The Valari looked down on the humans, seeing them as inferior, while the Tharnak viewed the humans' caution as weakness. "This is falling apart," Rajesh said in frustration after yet another argument with the Tharnak leader. "If we don't find a way to work together, we're going to fail this challenge." Amelia agreed. "We need to remind them that we're all in this together. The council is watching, and if we can't prove that we're capable of cooperation, we'll never be allowed to join." It was a difficult task, but Amelia managed to broker a fragile truce between the Valari and the Tharnak. Together, they navigated the ruins and retrieved the relic, narrowly avoiding disaster. But the cracks in the alliance were beginning to show. The crew knew that the final challenge would be the most difficult of all. The third and final challenge took place aboard a derelict alien ship, drifting on the outskirts of the galaxy. The ship belonged to a long-extinct race, its technology far beyond anything humanity or the other species had ever enforced. The crew was tasked with unlocking the ship's central control system and retrieving its data. But as they delved deeper into the ship, they discovered that they weren't alone. The ship's automated defense systems had activated, and they were now trapped in a deadly game of cat and mouse with advanced alien drones. The final challenge was not just a test of intelligence or teamwork, it was a test of survival. The crew was once again paired with members of the Council species, but this time, they had to rely entirely on each other to stay alive. The drones were relentless, and every mistake could be fatal. Amelia led the team through the dark, twisting corridors of the ship, using her knowledge of alien technology to disable traps and bypass security systems. Rajesh worked alongside the Valari, using their telepathic abilities to sense the drone's movements and avoid ambushes. But it was Captain Mitchell who ultimately saved the day. In a desperate final battle, he managed to outwit the drones and access the ship's control system, unlocking the data the Council had requested. They had passed the final challenge. But the cost had been high. Several members of the team had been injured, and the alliance between the humans and the other species was hanging by a thread. Back aboard the Zarnath station, the Council convened to deliver their verdict. The challenges had tested the humans in every possible way, and while they had succeeded, it was clear that humanity still had much to learn about cooperation on a galactic scale. "We have seen both your strengths and your weaknesses," the Zarnath leader said as the crew stood before the Council. "You have proven that you are capable of great things, but you have also shown that your species is still divided." Amelia held her breath as the Zarnath paused. The fate of humanity rested on their next words. "Despite this, we believe that you have the potential to grow. We invite you to join the Council of Species as probationary members. In time, you may earn full membership, but first you must prove that you can unite not only with other species, but with yourselves." A sense of relief washed over the crew. They had done it. Humanity had taken its first step into the wider galaxy. As they prepared to return to Earth, Amelia looked out at the stars, filled with a sense of wonder and possibility. The journey was far from over, but for the first time, humanity had a place among the stars.